Did y'all see the story about the black TikToker who's suing LA Citibank for racially profiling her?
No, what happened?
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this. I got a goddamn gnat. All right, so black TikToker and singer Baby Storm threatens to file a lawsuit against Citibank in LA after accusing them of racially profiling her and confiscating the check she tried to cash from her father. Storm says she received a $30,000 check from her dad so that she could pay her rent for up to a year. However, when she went to East Hollywood branch on Sunset Boulevard to cash the funds, she was refused service. You know what this? Did y'all watch oh God, Ketanji Jackson when she was sitting down being interviewed for her position and how those white men were attacking her?
And woman.
And she's more than qualified.
Right.
This is what this reminds me of. Also, along with what happened with Ryan Coogler, okay?
Right.
Is it because of my skin that you don't think I'm supposed to have this amount of money? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are refusing service. You're my bank, but I can't deposit this check or cash this check or whatever. How blatant is this country going to be with it? You know what I'm saying?
Honestly.
And I hope people would stop acting like it doesn't exist.
Right.
You know, we smile now because it's almost expected.
Right.
But it's there. It's just a little blatant, man. But go ahead, Michael Joe.
Nah, I was saying that they confiscated the check. They never gave it back to her.
Yeah, they confiscated the check, wouldn't return it. She said she asked her to tell her does this with all customers. And she said no. The TikToker proceeded to threaten to call the police and locked her in the bank, and they locked her in the bank with all the gates down until she stopped recording and deleted the footage of the ordeal.
I seen the TikTok. The
Oh,
other
word.
day. Yeah, I remember this. Now that you mentioned it, I remember the story. And then, of course, people like, oh no, prove it. And then she posted a video of her in the bank, literally saying, "I'll call my dad if there's an issue," and they literally refused her service. I was like, that shit mad. That shit wow, bro. I can't, like, it cringes me to just to grasp. I give you my identification. You see my face. I'm in your system. How in the hell do I steal my own money? Like,
it's been a long.
That's what I was hearing.
Damn, you.
A long time coming.
What did we say?
But I know a change gonna come.
I mean, I really want to believe that, man. And sometimes we talk about these topics and I look at certain things. It's so funny. I was watching.
I go to the movies.
It's like at this point, what is it? What can we do, and what do we have to do? Because it's blatantly disrespectful. I worked at a bank. It's not hard to trace, find out, and know if things are fraud at this point. You know what I'm saying? It truly isn't. And to sit there and confiscate the check and then refuse them service, like, I definitely hope she wins this lawsuit, man. But I really want to know. I'm like, yo, what more can we do? Because they're continuing to do this stuff to us over and over, repeatedly. But we have to stand together more. And even with Wells Fargo, all the stuff that they were doing with black people, I'm like, every black person should have took their money out of Wells Fargo. You know, we have to, our dollars matter. You know, Black Lives Matter, our dollars matter. We can make change with our money. Sometimes I don't think we go far enough with causes, or we want to stand up. It's gonna cost us hardships. Oh man, I got my mortgage and everything wrapped up with this bank. I ain't finna take my money. No, you know what I'm saying? We have to. That's the only way we can make a change. Money changes things. And it's like, yo, like I just keep using Wells Fargo, but it's like, because Wells Fargo, every black person should just remove their money from Wells Fargo. Fuck the apologies.
They are the biggest culprit. Yeah, they are the biggest culprit so
Fuck
far
the apologies.
in the last 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. If I got a loan with you and maybe I pay my loan off or some shit, but that we finna transfer this motherfucker, because this is just disrespectful. And you telling me that my money don't matter and that, oh, this can't be your money, man. That's the biggest way I think you can change things, is by, moving your money.
And there's plenty of black banks out here, and they only growing.
One United.
Yeah, One United is a big one right now.
I mean,
go ahead.
No, it may be inconvenient at first, but it's like, what's the price? It's something we got to pay a price one way or another. You know what I'm saying?
If you look at
to make that sacrifice,
that's a good point, right? If you look at it, Jay Prince is calling for a boycott of the Grammys, right? And he's telling the biggest artists, we're going to stream somewhere else to show people, hey, we have the views and the numbers and the power. Everybody's not on board with that though, right? For whatever reason, they got their own personal investments. I don't know the inner workings and the minds of these people and why they choose to do what they do, but it sounds good, because why are we vying for a seat at the table with the Grammys and everything else? But here's the reason why. Because once you get a Grammy nod, or once you get an Oscar nod or a Tony or something, your price goes up. Your price don't go up before that. The reason why the price goes up after that is because we don't own nothing else outside of that. Okay. This is not a knock, right? Tyler Perry's money only goes so far. He can only pay people so much, because even he's going to have to hit a wall. I do believe that he's working to break down that wall because of the things that he's done now. Look at Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie's going back to the hometown of Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken, to buy 20 acres and open up his own studio there. Now, that's going back and buying back the block. That's going back and bringing opportunity to, come on now, let's think about that. That's big, right? You don't hear too much about that. But that's big. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, and I have the same conversation with you brothers. I just looked up Rush Card. You crazy?
Urban Advocate said that.
Yeah. But I look at you brothers and I say to myself, at some point in the next, 24 to 48 months, we gonna figure out something. We got to. Whether we got the mental capacity, whether it's the capital or whatever, or we put something together to say, hey, you give me this money so we can make this happen. And if it's a good idea, somebody's gonna give you the capital to do it. The problem is group economics, man. We need to come together more and start doing shit more. You know what I'm saying? I think Scottie Pippen was on somebody's podcast and he was talking about how, these people got to go work out in these gyms. And he mentioned, I want to believe he mentioned 4 or 5 players in LA and say, yo, with all of these players in LA, why don't we have our own gym? Why do the kids and the youth got to go here and go there and pay here and pay there when we can put our money together? It's a disconnect there with us somewhere, man. That's just how I feel.
They've embedded distrust within ourselves. Like, it's deeply rooted, bro. It gets bigger, but there's a lot of distrust within the Black community. We talk about supporting Black businesses, and then we like, see, this why I don't support a Black business. Y'all can't start on time. Y'all can't do this. And that is a whole nother issue. Hairstylists and barbers and stuff, they'll come late any time. Different businesses, some people understand it, but you have that level, but then you have the deeply rooted distrust that has been created in us from slavery that we don't mentally understand a lot of times. Because I look at communities like Mexicans, Hispanics, all these other races. I feel they stick together a lot better. They do things a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? I said this before. I remember I was younger and I didn't know. I just knew my grandmother had one apartment in this apartment complex. I had one, me and my girlfriend. My cousin had one out there. And I was like, yo, this is stupid. We're a whole family paying these people for each apartment. Why don't we get one big house or apartment? And at the time, the goal was just to get everybody a new car, mentally in my head. But as I grew older, I'm like, man, we could have all lived together, pooled our resources, got a house, then lived in that house, pooled our resources and rinse and repeat. But nobody wanted to do it. I remember mentioning this, and it's like, is the sacrifice that, yeah, we got to sit in each other's space, or what the issue is? But I think there's some level of distrust, built into Black people. I don't know. I would imagine a lot of it stems from racism and things that haven't happened to us in the past that we created distrust with us. The same way that, maybe we could have overpowered the slave masters, but they whipped the shit out of one slave and we like, hold up, we don't want no smoke. But also with the way we run businesses, like, oh, they ain't on time, they don't open properly, y'all run out of supplies. But also, should we have more patience with our people?